Hey guys, it's me Devraj and welcome back to Bioenergetics. Today I want to look at a pair of exercises that you can use to increase the stretch in your lower back. You know, the lower back is one of the key areas we work in bioenergetics because it is the primary area of holding. You know, we all have one of the things that makes us what most distinguishes us humans in terms of our brain anatomy and function is the prefrontal cortex. About an inch down from up here. It's highly evolved, it's highly complex in humans compared to our nearest primate ancestors. And this organ of the brain governs our personality. That's one of its primary roles. And because in our sort of more tribal days, the effects of not fitting in, with the tribe, the culture, the group could be extreme. You know, if you got ostracized from the tribe, you would probably die. And so this organ of the brain has a lot of power. It has a lot of power. In the brain's own hierarchy of control mechanisms, it's pretty close to the top. And what it does with a lot of our feelings, if it believes that feeling and showing that feeling, whether it's vulnerability, sadness, pain, whether it's anger, rage, you know, whether it's somewhere in between or a different zone, if it believes that feeling will not support you to fit in and get your needs met socially or with lovers or in your role, in the tribe, your job, whatever, you know, it can repress that feeling. And the primary area where it likes to repress is back here in the lower back, probably because we never really look at our lower back or other people's lower backs. When we want to look good, to impress the opposite sex or same sex if we're that way orientated, if we want to get good friendships, if we want to impress the boss or get a job, we want our front to look good, you know. And so the job of this prefrontal cortex is essentially to find somewhere to store all the old trauma, all the old emotions that we're not comfortable with, to just stash all that stuff away effectively, essentially. And it picks the lower back here, and in the back of the legs as well. And so that's just a little bit of theory in explaining why we work so much with the lower back. But because for pretty much every human being past the age of say 14 or 15, their lower back is literally rammed with stuff, the lower back also becomes quite vulnerable. We don't really occupy our lower back in the sense that we don't really feel our lower back. You ask most people, even from teenage years, you know, just to sit, can you feel your lower back? And they're like, no, you know. And that's because we've been using it as such a dumping ground, we can't really feel it. And this difficulty to feel the lower back makes the muscles vulnerable. It means that it's quite easy for us to pull our lower back, and the consequences of pulling these muscles can be also quite severe. So I'm going to show you this exercise, but you know, if it feels a bit much for you, really don't do it. You know, don't do it. A lot of exercises that we've been doing in this series are working the lower back, sometimes along with other muscle groups. The bow and the arch, for example, is working the lower back a lot as well as the back of the legs. And this exercise will increase the stretch in the lower back. You've also may have seen the dog lion or dog cobra also working a lot the lower back. This one increases the stretch, and we're going to do two postures, but like I say, be careful with it. Don't just mindlessly go and pushing like crazy and then pull a muscle in your lower back. And then especially don't then write to me blaming me for doing this, because I'm just giving exercises out. You have to take responsibility whether your body is ready for them, essentially. That is how it works. Okay guys, let's get to the exercise. So what you'll need is a chair, or you could use the edge of an armchair, something fairly sturdy, but it doesn't have to be huge. And it wants to be at least a foot off the ground. This is about 18 inches off the ground. It could also be a couple of foot, that's okay. You'll see, all we're going to do is I'm going to put my feet on it, and then I'm going to rest on my elbows like this. Just check you can see me. Yeah. And then I can gently, you know, I've got my feet about halfway along my feet, resting on the cushion here. And breathing through the mouth, I can either relax my neck or have my head up. I can drop my ass a little bit and breathe and feel into this stretch. Dropping my crotch a bit so that I can increase the stretch on the lower back. This is a little bit, my feet aren't really up high enough to get a full stretch in this. You can also do it coming up a bit, resting on the hands. It's just a way of putting a little bit more gentle pressure on the lower back to gently encourage it to open more. And when we're trying in a safe way to encourage our body to open, it's important we have the right attitude. And that is not the attitude of the Sergeant Major pushing some new recruit. The attitude is with more care. Yes, you're creating a deep stretch, but you breathe through the mouth deep and you really feel what's going on. You really feel what you're doing to your lower back. And if you're worried at any time, you come out of the posture. It's good to start it, see if it feels right for your body, if it's doing something good. And if not, don't do it. And if it is, start with like a 45-second ding, 1 minute ding. You can work up from there as you feel confident, but take it slow. And a good way to come out of this stretch is to do something similar to the child pose in yoga. Bring your ass, have your toes together, but your knees a little wider apart. Let me just come around a little bit to show you. So you're sitting back on your heels, basically, and then just slowly lean forwards, keeping your ass in contact with your heels, and just breathe and feel. Maybe your head comes to the floor, maybe not. And spend like one ding in that posture as well. One ding in that posture as well. And then, you can do reps if you want to, but like I say, go easy with this exercise the first few times you do it. Until you've got a kind of handle on it internally. You can only do that through experiencing it and doing it yourself with your own body. You can't really get clear guidelines. Everyone's back profile is a little bit different. It's good for me personally to work on my lower back in these kind of convex stretches because, what was that, converse? I can never remember. But it's good for me to work on it because as a kid I had an issue with my Achilles tendons down in my ankles and they resulted in my posture being slightly wrong. When I first started doing the bow about 2 decades ago, I could not do the bow exercise. I literally could not lean back. Now I can do it. But so these stretches are good for me. They may be good for you. You may have a different kind of posture and it may not work for you. Be aware of this. Everyone's profile is a little bit different. Okay guys, that's this leaning forwards lower back stretch and with a kind of child pose to correct it. Feel free to give it a try, leave any comments below. And like I say, do be careful with these stretches, with this one in particular, because it could open your lower back up much more than is useful for you in the moment. Like I say, you can start with the bow and arch. You can also start with the dog lion. Both of those stretches are working the lower back as well. Okay guys, thanks very much for tuning in, and remember, if you're turned on by this bioenergetics, if you see its potential, maybe you've done a few exercises and you realise like, wow, this stuff could really transform my life, then do check out Bioenergetics The Journey. It's an online 52-week intensive where I guide you the whole way. It's just started about a week ago, that's early December 2019, and it's really worth checking. If you see that bioenergetics could work for you and you want to commit to a 52-week journey, then check it out. Okay guys, speak to you later, and remember, just keep doing it. Just keep doing the bio. Just keep doing it. Your mind will come up with stories. Don't listen to them too much. Just keep doing it and your life will get better. Simple as that. Speak to you soon.